What is up, everybody? This is Jay, and it's been a while since I've made a video, but I thought it was long overdue. So today I'm going to be reacting to my upcoming debate with Man of Tomorrow about MGTOW Dictionary's book, The 48 Laws of Dating. Also going to be reacting to a little bit of my debate with him, the quick one on QB's stream. I think it was last Friday. So anyway, this is going to be my reaction, so strap in and let's go. Now, I don't think MOT is a bad guy or has malintent, but I do think that he is misinformed on the book, The 48 Laws of Dating. And again, right, because I believe the purposes of this book were none other than grifting, right? It was just written to make someone a quick dollar. And yes, there are things that we're going to find in this book that I do agree with, okay? But again, as we kind of talked about, right, some of them are common sense, right? So I don't really see what is so great about paying for common sense. And I do want to say, as far as MOT goes, his line of reasoning on QB's stream, right, defending it, I don't think was very good, because I pressed him, about there's not specific examples, right? I haven't read the whole thing, okay? I read the first 2 chapters a while ago, and my BS detectors were going off, because the first chapter is called Never Trust a Dating Coach. Now, meanwhile, this is a book called The 48 Laws of Dating that, presumably, if you received it under normal circumstances, you just paid for. Whether that was $5, $10, or $100, you are paying. It is paying for dating advice. That makes, ergo, right? The author, the person giving that advice, is a dating coach. So the first chapter just contradicts itself right out of the gate, right there. So again, right, that's literally like, we're not even like 10 minutes in, and there's already problems. So at that point, I'm like, am I really gonna like read all this? I know the saying about don't judge a book by its cover, but you certainly can judge a book by its author, right? And I really didn't know much about the author at that time. And it's very interesting, right? Like the whole like MD cult, like somebody could do like a whole like dissertation on that for like an abnormal psych class, Like, I think that would be really interesting for any of you like psych majors out there. That's a free project for you. I mean, respect the man's right to privacy, just change up the names and everything, but you could do a whole like paper on that. You could do a whole study on that, like just how cults behave. Like, and it's all here on the internet, so you can like get your observations for free. Just throw it out there. Anybody who needs like, a topic, right? One of those classes, you could actually make it on this. And I think that would be really interesting. So anyway, during QB's stream the other night, Man of Tomorrow said I was looking for things to, clip out of him. And hey, listen, you have my word, man to man. I'm not going to clip anything out of that debate. Because again, like I kind of came at you out of nowhere, and that wouldn't really be fair, right? I will just give you some feedback, though. You stated earlier during the program that you were an atheist. And I myself, I'm an atheist, more so agnostic than anything else. But most likely the reasoning for that, right, if I were to ask you why you were an atheist, you'd say that the Bible doesn't provide sufficient empirical evidence, right, for you to commit to a religion, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or really any holy text, right? It doesn't contain sufficient empirical evidence for you to commit to that as a belief system. But then later during the stream, when I was asking you, about the author's credibility and even providing reasoning for some of the, 48 laws, right? You had stated that, the reason wasn't really important. But again, that right there is pretty contradictory, right? If that's your reason for not, not taking the Bible as a credible book and thing to live by, right? So just wanted to point that out. I gave you a softball because I didn't bring that up on the stream, but I don't think you're going to be able to defend this book very well because it's not defendable, honestly. Like, if I am actually able to read this thing cover to cover, and I really don't want to because honestly, I have a lot going on right now. I barely even get to stream like once every 2 weeks, but I will find time to read this thing cover to cover. I can't imagine there not being a lot of contradictions, things not provided with sufficient examples. or just very obvious things that you shouldn't have to pay to learn. And your premise is that this is a good book that is helpful to people, right? But I mean, there's lots of things you can get on. There's lots of helpful things you can get for free. For example, I've got videos on my channel here. I've got a whole playlist of videos on how to do repairs on your car, and it's me doing the repairs on my own vehicle on camera, and then driving the vehicle after the fact to show you that it did in fact work, establishing credibility. And I don't even ask for money or anything like that, because there's a million channels that can show you how to do the same repair. It's pretty obvious. It's not something that you should have to pay for. So that again is another premise of mine, that even the things that are correct in here, it's not worth paying money for. So that's going to be kind of my premise here. But we shall see, right? Like I said, I'm going to try to keep out any bias I have, and just go off of the content in the book. But I do want to caveat that things like spelling, grammar, and punctuation, that is going to be called into question. And I'll clarify on that. When you're arguing on the internet, like in the comments and stuff, obviously, then correcting somebody's spelling is the lowest form of argument, because it's a given. You're on the internet, you're typing quickly, we're not going back and spell checking and proofreading, right? We just want to get the comment out there quickly. However, when you publish a work of literature, it matters very much, because that's your credibility, right? You're saying that, hey, I took the time to proofread and edit this. So if you're not doing that, that kind of shows us that the book is put together haphazardly without attention to detail. So that is actually very relevant given the context that this is a work of literature. Again, if we were arguing in the comments on YouTube, don't really care about that stuff. But if this is a book that you are charging people money for, yeah, that stuff needs to be on point. So I will be dissecting that too. So be ready to defend that, because again, I haven't read it from cover to cover yet, but I have watched a review that said there were a lot of mistakes in the book. But we shall find out. I also will apologize for yelling at you, MOT. And I think when we do have the debate, QB can kind of give each person like a certain time period, whether that's a minute or 2 minutes, to respond to the other person's question. Again, I was a little frustrated because I felt that you weren't letting me finish my thought in each scenario. But again, it's not normally what I do. I just needed to do that to get to finish the thought, right? But I do apologize for that. Let's put that on on QB, right? To make it a good debate, give everybody an even amount of time to respond. That way we keep things fair and avoid scenarios where we feel like we have to shout over each other. Because again, that's really not cool. So anyway, send QB the book. He will send it to me, and I will read it, and then we will schedule a time to have this thing on QB's channel. And in time, not asking you to pick sides, right? That's me, QB, Caduceus, the whole TBM crew here, right? We're kind of just make your decision based on the evidence. But I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've been very good at winning people over to realize, to see, that MD is not credible and is just kind of a piece of crap as a person. Had a lot of people reach out to me on Discord to tell me hey, you were right. And my response has never been oh, I told you so, or suck on that. It's just, hey, I'm happy you're seeing it, and I plan to continue what I'm doing, honestly. As long as he's talking crap, then I will respond, and I'll keep doing the same thing, and I'll keep making people see the truth. Because what it boils down to is he's really just mad about this. Everybody has seen this video at 3.3 thousand views. So pretty much his entire little subscriber base has seen it. It has over 70 likes. And in the video, I urge the big channels like Alex Playing with Fire, he's seen it, just to stop letting these people on, because I see that their whole little plan, right, is to talk a bunch of crap about these larger channels to bait them into interacting with them. And I'm like, just ignore it because you don't need to listen to them, right? Now, me, I have 600 subscribers, so the fact that they're talking about me all the time is a big win for me, right? When you can get a much larger channel constantly talking about you, that's when you know you live in their heads rent free. It's like a little like I'll just keep yanking his chain because it's funny to watch him go up, right? It's like a little like wind up toy. It's good for everybody as entertainment, honestly. And because he's such a piece of crap as a person, I'm just going to keep doing it. I really have no remorse for that, to be honest with you. There are certain people you just can't negotiate or make peace with. It's a crappy fact of life. Like if you watch the video, MD actually asked me for peace a couple of years ago because he's weak and caved first, and then he's the one who actually reneged on his word. So that's why now I'm like, hey, you're gonna keep talking crap. I will keep firing the artillery at you. It's kind of like a Vladimir Putin type person, right? Like we all know that he's not going to negotiate, and if he did negotiate, he's going to use that time to just make his troops stronger and come back in 2 years. That's why they're like, don't bother with negotiating. The only option is to keep using force, right? And for me, the force is word of mouth. It is the pen is mightier than the sword. Just keep producing, content that shows the contrary, and that will do it. Because I'll tell you what it all boils down to. I was discussing with somebody on Discord the other day. They're like, MD really hates you. He gets really, heated about you. I'll tell you what it boils down to, okay? MD hates me because I force him to look in the mirror, and a narcissist cannot stand that, okay? I force him to look at this. I force him to accept the fact that this is what he truly is, right? Some ugly ass guy with a recessed chin, prey eyes, right? He just looks like some hideous, like old dude living in a basement. Whether it's not a basement, it's some like crappy little room with his posters of like a 50-something-year-old man with marijuana posters. He has to accept that this is the failure that he is. Whether that's financially in terms of getting fame. With women, he's a complete abject failure, and I force him to confront that, and I force his viewers to confront that, and they hate that. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care that he hates me, okay? Because the lions do not care about the opinions of sheep. This is objectively a worthless person, and you shouldn't care what he thinks of you. But if he's going to continue to keep slandering and attacking me, I will keep making him confront this reality. And it's ironic because the black-pilled people are always like, oh, yeah, we're about the truth, but they don't want to confront this reality. He's going to keep on with his Chad LARPing and claim that, it's all about looks and, he gets all the women, but this is what he looks like in real life. And he doesn't like that I keep forcing him to look at that. So that's the reason, in case you were wondering. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. He's also got no shoulders, too. Check this out. The man's chair is actually wider than him. These are some of the puniest looking shoulders I've ever seen. I actually think if this guy like stuck 2 plates on a bench press, it would actually like fall down and crush his chest. Last thing I'll address is apparently MD said recently that like I'm the type of person to go to war and die. Again, just completely delusional thinking. In a war scenario, right? Let's just say like, we were doing the same job, which is to supply our gunner. I mean, you have the fact that like I could probably carry 3 ammunition boxes to his 1. So again, right? You're talking about like physical strength, like in running endurance. Like I guarantee you, MD's never ran a sub 5-minute mile. He's never bench pressed close to 300 pounds. Like he's just, again, his delusional LARPing, really. He's not built for physicality, honestly. That's what it is. It's really just a very like weak person, like shouting behind a computer screen because they know there's no real repercussions for it in real life. But again, there are going to be repercussions because I will still keep making content to cover it. And he doesn't want to admit it or face this fact. But my content has swayed a lot of people away from him, and it is affecting his subscriber count and views. That has actually like gone down over the years, right? And I'm not going to take all the credit for it. There have been a lot of people who've called him out as well. I won't I'll be humble there, but I'm just saying, like, he knows that the content and arguments that I've made have swayed people away from his channel and away from buying his book, which is the ultimate goal, is to just stop him from growing. It's kind of like I view MD as kind of like a malignant cancer. You just have to like kind of like contain it where it is and stop it from spreading and kind of like hone in on it, right? To just get rid of it. And that's the ultimate goal, is to just kind of like get rid of his channel. Which again, that has to come of his own volition. I do not agree with the censorship that's been going on recently. Like, I know Face and LMS was actually recently deleted from YouTube. I just want to be clear, I don't agree with that. As much as I can't stand MD and what he has to say, I will defend to the death his right to say it. He has a right to insult me or whatever he wants, same way I have a right to insult him too, right? But we are all entitled to free speech. And I'm actually very disappointed with YouTube for the route that they're taking. So, no, I don't think MD should be banned or have his channel removed. But I do think, he should either, one, be honest with people, which, again, if he comes out and does that tomorrow, then I'll drop all my case against him. Um, or two, we should keep, to use his own words against him, keep hammering him until he breaks. Because again, when I swing a hammer, it's a much more powerful swing. MD talking about hammering on people until they break, that's like a 3-year-old girl swinging a hammer, right? It's just not a forceful stroke of the hammer because it's coming from an extremely weak person. So again, that's my thoughts on that. Anyway, Man of Tomorrow, please send QB the book as we discussed. Right when I am finished reading it, I will let QB know, and then we can schedule a time to have this debate. That's all I'm gonna say on this, guys. This has been Jay Tahoe. Stay crispy, and I'll see everybody soon.